Hi and welcome back to my little corner of the internet. Today we're making a Victorian corset and the pattern I'm using is from Black Snails patterns. And as always I'm starting off with all the assembly marks and where the bowing channels is going to be. This is a super important step and it's very important not to mix your pattern pieces up. So if you need to put on a little number or something, then it's a super good idea. And here I'm preparing to put in the busk. Here I'm sewing the first part of the busk bit, front bit actually, the center front bit, making sure not to sew where I have marked off. And now I'm just going to give that a little press once apart and then fold it over and then on top of each other. This makes it a lot easier to put in the busk because you already have the fold, and I'm doing this with both of the pieces. Now I'm slowly but steady sewing in the busk, using a zipper foot for my sewing machine. And here I'm marking off where the other piece is going to be. And then we're going to make some holes with my awol and then put it in. Again with the zipper foot and trying not to hit it, so I won't break my needle. And now I'm just assembling the corset, taking it one piece at a time. Now I'm going to iron all the seam allowance. And here it is, all ironed. And I'm going to cut one side of the seam allowance and then fold the other one over, pin that and then sew that on the machine. I can't remember what that's called, but that's what I do. Well, that's what I'm doing. So I'm just folding in the raw edges because I'm going to make this just a one layer corset, and then I'm putting in the waist tape. This could be a bit broader, but this was the only one I had, so use what you have sometimes. And then I'm just pinning that in, not making it too loose and not making it too tight. Now I'm just sewing each of the seam allowance that I have folded in. And when I do this, the waist tape is going to be sewn in as well. So I'm not actually sewing the waist tape itself, I'm just kind of sewing over it with these folded in seam allowance, or with this folded in seam allowance. I hope it makes sense. Here are all the boning I have. I have some steel boning and some polyester boning and some plastic boning and I'm going to use my my plastic boning, the little round see-through ones, and I was just measuring them out to make sure that my tape or binding tape is wide enough, and it is. I can actually fit 2 bones in one, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just putting those in and then I'm going to sew them. And here they are, all sewn in. Neat little rows. And as you can see, I have made it so I can put 2 bones in. And that's what I'm doing, using this little plastic boning. It's not synthetic baleen, but it's something like it. It was the only one that I could find, that I could get here in my little country of Denmark. That wouldn't be on its way for like 3 months. So that's what I did. And it works really well. So now I'm going to put binding on the top and the bottom of the corset. Just a regular black binding. Nothing to it. Holding it a bit tight to the edge, so the top will curve nicely in. And this is far simpler to do on a corset than it is on a pair of stays. Here also is some lace that I'm going to be putting on the top of the corset, and I'm going to sew this on by hand. I really love this lace. I have used this for my Edwardian corset as well. And here I'm just sitting in the sun putting on some lace. Sometimes you have to use the natural light because black on black can be pretty hard to see sometimes. But I made it work, and it was nice sitting there in my window with a cup of coffee. And here I'm trying to put on some flossing. I've never put on flossing before, so I'm not that good at it. But I was like, let's give it a try, and let's make it red, because let's really see all the mistakes that you make. Yeah. It was a design choice, maybe not the greatest one, but I made it work all the way around. But I need to practice this whole flossing thing a bit more, because I actually like the look of it, and it's just not too neat after my taste, especially on the inside, as you see in a second. But here it is, all done. I love this fabric. The fabric is actually old IKEA fabric that I got from a good friend's mom. And here you can see it on the inside. It's not the greatest, but who's going to see that? And here it is on. I could have made it a size smaller, but I didn't, because I measured myself on a bad IBS day, but who cares? It works, and I'm not one that tight laces, so it actually really doesn't matter. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!